Y'all, I need your help. One of the biggest weaknesses in my game right now is how long it takes me to adjust to new conditions. Polished balls and slick cloth. I mean, I feel like I generally know what I'm doing, but under those conditions, I just can't adapt enough. So a few days ago, my homeroom, Crown City Billiards in Pasadena, got recovered by Ernesto Dominguez himself, the legend. I actually filmed a short interview with him that I'll release soon. And we have these 4-inch gold crowns and a diamond that haven't been recovered in 7 years. The play is very different, and I am fully on the struggle bus. And I don't know why I chose to do this, but I got there without feeling the cloth out, no warm-up, just first time ever playing on this new surface, set up a go set, and hit record. Spoiler alert, it does not go well. So I'm out here just asking for help. I need help figuring this out. I do show you how I review myself to learn quicker and what to look out for, where my patterns might be hurting me and so forth, but I just also want your feedback. Look, I am not perfect. As much as I believe I can help people, I'm not the greatest player, but that's okay. That's part of this channel. As much as I hope to help you guys, I'm trying to get better too. Now, I know this video was a long one, but please stick around to the end because I run a rack on a newly covered diamond just so you guys can see the difference in how these tables play under the same conditions. Also, if you travel to these big tournaments with freshly covered tables and feel lost like I do, you might actually find some use in this video. All right, let's get this over with. You guys, this was a real struggle for me. I never play on new equipment, so getting used to this type of behavior from the cue ball it's a challenge in itself, but I thought it was a good opportunity because these tables have not been changed in 7 years. It has been a very long time since these tables that I'm very used to playing on have been changed. I'm used to sticky, grimy, dirty conditions where the cue ball really reacts off the rail easily, and I know where the cue ball is going. So this was a fun challenge, but I'm not very successful. You guys will see. So all out there for you guys to see. This is not fun to review, but this is how I review myself sometimes. I will take a go set or a few racks where I see key transitions that I don't get right, and I will analyze what is going on either with my mechanics, with my game, with my stroke, and then also in my patterns and in my cue ball control. I'm playing WNT style 9-ball. That means the 9 is racked on the spot, and I'm breaking from the break box. Brand new conditions for me. I polished these balls. These are my own set. I tried to get the most extreme example as I could. Let's get it underway. Let's just show you and talk at the same time. So there's my first break. I missed the 1 ball. Let's take a look again. Normally the 1 ball would be, my goal is, sorry, not normally, but I do tend to have a high percentage of making this 1 ball. Normally the 1 ball would be going into the side pocket. I missed it high. And the reason I missed it high, you can see, is because I did not draw the ball enough. Or I cut it too thick without as much draw. So if you cut it thick, the 1 ball ends up going high. And if you cut it thin, the 1 ball ends up going low. If you don't have enough draw on the cue ball, and I'm using a half ball hit here on the 1, cutting it from the left side, half ball hit. If you don't have enough draw, 1 ball goes high. If you have too much draw, the 1 ball goes low. In my opinion, you can't really have too much draw because it's kind of self-correcting, and we can get into that with other breaks as well. But I'm just gonna skip forward through this, get the break out of the way, because this is a go set. I'm gonna take ball in hand anyway. It's not a big deal. So let's move on to the next shot. I do choose to try to get an angle here where I'm either straight in on the 2, or I have a, where I end up on the left side of the 2 here, so that I can just suck the cue ball back out to the rail and shoot the 3 in the side pocket. That's what I'm trying to do. Take a look at what happens. Angle in does not equal angle out, you guys. On new cloth, especially on gold crowns like this. These are gold crowns, not with new rubber. It's the original rubber. It plays natural when the cloth is worn in, but when the cloth is new, the angles open up so much with a rolling ball. So take a look at this trajectory. The cue ball goes towards the rail at, we'll say 40 degrees, 30, 35, 40 degrees, and then it comes out at like 20 degrees. And so the cue ball ended up diving much more than I was expecting. So let's see what I decided to do here. I think I just decided to roll forwards. Yeah, and then that would have gotten me a straight-in shot on the 3 so that I could have an angle to come back up table for the 5 ball from the 4. Let's skip through this because this is really just about showing you guys how to play with new cloth. I say how to play with new cloth like I can do it well. Clearly, I don't do this well. This is not what I'm used to. This is interesting. You guys, this is very interesting. You will see, I'm gonna show a pattern that I play where I run out on a diamond after this set. The reason I show how a diamond plays with brand new cloth, by the way, same room, same table mechanic, Ernesto Dominguez does the diamond there, and he also does these gold crowns, but they play so differently just because of how the tables are built. Take a look at the reaction of this cue ball off of the rail. It doesn't really come off of the rail that much before drawing up table. And the reason is because these are softer rails than diamonds. So I'm expecting the way that a table would normally behave with worn in cloth is that I'm expecting this ball to really sort of come off this rail at more of an angle. But because of the new cloth, the balls are slipping in. Maybe I hit it a little bit thick. It just does not come off the rail like I expect to. So it comes off more straight instead of at the angle that I'm expecting like this out here. Because I wanted an angle to move down for the 6. Now I got straight in, so I had to move forward to get on the 6. Now here, this one's interesting. Again, I'm very used to playing on these tables while they're very dirty. So what I am used to is the cue ball rolling straight through the 6 ball here and then using left spin to move the cue ball out with a decent angle to draw back up table for shape on the 8, right? Ooh, wow. That's not what happens here. Take a look at the cue ball. It goes off the tangent line so long that it ends up clipping the 8 ball and sending the cue ball straighter in towards the rail here instead of at the angle that I was expecting because it nicked the cue ball or nicked the 8 ball. So now I'm dealing with a much longer shot on the 7 than I was expecting. You guys, adapting to these conditions is pretty tough. You really have to play your angles right, and you have to understand how the cue ball is going to behave off of what rails and off of what tables. So I respect these pros that can adapt to these conditions so much more after, you know, just one go set. Take a look at this too. I was totally expecting not this trajectory. I was expecting this cue ball to be coming hotter off the rail and then, you know, more towards this angle on the 8. What ends up happening instead is that I overdraw the cue ball so much that it ends up going to the bottom rail. And take a look at how much this cue ball dies off of the long rail. This trajectory is crazy. It goes down like this, right? Look at that. It dives like, cuts the angle in half almost. It's really insane. So when you have a rolling cue ball at a glancing angle like that, with new cloth, the cue ball dives so much, it's very, very difficult to predict, especially if you're used to very worn conditions like I am. Now on this shot, I believe I do try to play a very different shot. I think I got lucky here in the fact that I A, didn't scratch, and B, got some sort of shot on the 9 ball. But what I was trying to do was come off of the short rail, into the long rail, and then the cue ball would naturally come this way for a shot at the 9 over here to shoot the 9 ball in this corner. Now, look at what happens. The cue ball dives, once again, dives off the long rail, and because the energy, the roll of the cue ball is traveling this way, right? The cue ball wants to continue traveling this way. So it strikes the 8 ball. The cue ball comes up here, and instead of coming off this rail naturally, it ends up diving. So it curves down table like this because of the new cloth. It really slides off this rail and then dives to the short rail. Again, all things to take away from, all things to learn. If I go back and I play more sets on this table, I now have this in my memory bank to try to pull from, to play shape differently, or to hit the cue ball differently. So I think I, just lined it up, tried to, I think I was explaining there that I was trying to play long, short, yeah. Okay, shoot the 9 ball, made the 9 ball. You guys don't think that that was good, that was not good, and it only gets worse from there. So here's the next rack. Here, I'll play it out just so you guys know I'm not chopping this up. Okay, I rack it, there we go. Keep in mind what I said about the break. See if I do this one any better. That was a much better break. So I think that's like the perfect way to hit the break, where the cue ball travels, hits the 1 ball, cue ball travels under the 9 ball, then over the 9 ball, then back to center table. I think that is the perfect break. And the reason is because then it still gets the cue ball center table. And if you're like me and you're trying to cheat a little bit, and and you have the 2 ball on this wing ball. So the way they rack in WNT 9 ball format, the 2 ball has to be on one of the wings. It has to be on one of the corners, one of the back balls, like this, one of those 3 spots. I like racking the 2 ball here. Granted, I won't always have that choice, especially if somebody else is racking for me, if it's a ref or if it's somebody else. But the 2 ball has a tendency of going 1, 2, 3 rails up like this. And that means with the cue ball around here, I can have a shot at the 2 in the side, or a shot at the 2, or if the cue ball stays up here longer, or if not enough energy goes in the rack, and then the 2 ball ends up around here, then I have a shot at the 2 in this corner. The 2 ball also tends to get kissed, either hanging up around this pocket, or maybe even it goes into the corner pocket like a normal wing ball would, but that's, really table dependent. It got kissed in there. But man, I think that was a pretty good break. I do see this 3 ball. I am gonna take ball in hand. You guys, I was trying to get this trajectory like this, right? And I think more or less I got there, but it opened up off of this second rail more than I expected. Again, because of the new cloth. And I ended up getting really, really straight on this 4 ball, right? And it also stunned a lot more than I expected. I expected the cue ball to be running closer towards this 3rd diamond, and it went closer to the side pocket. So more mistakes. Check this out. Nice, easy miss right there. What I should have done in hindsight is I should have just played to, play the cue ball here, right? Mini draw, and then have an angle on the 5 where I come back up table for the 6 ball, play it a little differently. There's a reason why the phrase, take your medicine, that's a big phrase, because really, sometimes you just have to sacrifice your position to run out. I decided not to sacrifice my position and I missed the ball. So more learnings. Moving on to the next rack here. That was a better break. Not bad. A lot of speed into the one ball, but I think I cut it a little thin. You guys, just for this break, I ended up cutting this ball so thin and I still made the one ball. The reason this works is because the thinner you make contact with this one ball, the more or the less spin-induced throw the one ball has. So the reason why we use backspin on this break is because it throws the one ball. It throws the one ball from above the side pocket into the side pocket. But now, if you cut the one ball thinner, it already wants to travel below the side pocket. But since you're cutting it thinner, there's less spin-induced throw on the one ball, so the one ball self-corrects and goes back towards the pocket. So, in other words, with this break, a lot of amateurs, we hit it too thick and we hit it with not enough backspin. If there's one tip I would give other amateurs that are learning to get better at this break, hit it thinner and hit it with more backspin. That's all. Okay, moving on, enough talking about the break. See the two ball? There's the two ball in that zone I was talking about, right? This quadrant, because of where I placed it in the rack. All right, moving on, I take ball in hand. The goal here is to draw the cue ball off of this rail, underneath the 4 ball, and then towards the 3 ball here. Take a look at what happens. Oof, this one is rough, you guys. This is where I realized that the speed of the table is very different than I was expecting. Look at this cue ball zip down table. My face. This cue ball zips down table. Yes, it comes off of the rail and then it curves like this down table. So I was totally expecting a straighter trajectory, right? I was expecting a trajectory more like this, and it ended up curving almost like a delayed draw. But again, because of the softer rails on the gold crown, it really draws the ball a lot off of the rail in a straighter line because the rails aren't as bouncy. The cue ball's not coming off of the rail as much first. It's coming off the rail a little bit and then drawing straight. Just not what I'm used to. So I ended up jarring this cue ball and hooking myself on the point of the pocket. And now I got a kick. And well, you can imagine how this goes. I made contact, but it's not good enough. Actually, this is a good learning point. So let's take a look at how long it takes for this cue ball to cross over this second diamond to second diamond line and then bounce back up table. You will see very quickly how much speed is lost from this contact on the rail. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 frames passing that point, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 frames, 5.5 frames for it to cross back that same distance. Now on a diamond, I think this cue ball would be flying at a similar speed, not to this, a similar speed to when it went in to the rail. But these softer rails are killing the speed and the overspin of how this cue ball still wants to be traveling this direction. So the spin is actually still on the cue ball. It's still rotating this way, right? So even though the rail is pushing the cue ball backwards, the cue ball wants to be traveling that way and it slows the cue ball down. I was expecting to hit this 3 ball maybe 20 or 30% more speed. And it just dies off of that rail. Cue ball dies off of the rail. Again, no cuts. There's no cuts in here, you guys. I have markers where I can skip forward just to show you guys, but this is all one set. Okay, made the 1 ball again. I think I hit it a little bit thin that time also, but If you hit it thin but with enough draw, you will still make the 1-ball. Okay. I hate this so much. You guys, it looks like a simple shape to get from the 2 to the 3. So I'm trying to get here on the 3, right? If I get here on the 3, Nate. If I get here on the 3, I can strike the 3 and roll forwards to either play the 4-ball here. I don't actually think it passes the 5. I didn't check because I'm lazy. Bad Nate. Or play a combo on the 5, or play the carom 8-ball into the corner. Take a look at what happens with the cue ball here. This just goes to show that it's not just about having enough speed, it's about hitting the cue ball right. So I use a rolling ball. I'm very used to using a rolling ball in this scenario where I set up like a 30-degree angle here and I roll the cue ball and I expect, I'm so surprised, my hand. I'm so used to the cue ball coming off of the rail at the same speed out to here, right? I was very much expecting that trajectory. But look what happens. The cue ball dies off of the rail because you can actually see the cue ball. Look at the measles on the ball. You can see it rolling forwards and then just slow when it rolls backwards this way. It's just instant death on the cue ball. So I either needed to hit it harder or I needed to stun the ball at the same speed. And that would have not fought the rail not fought the cloth so much, because the cue ball wouldn't have been wanting to travel so much this way with a stunning speed. You know, there'd be much less forward momentum going that way, or forward rotation going towards that long rail. And so the cue ball would have come off the rail more. But it just dies because of the forward roll. So this is just more learning, more for me to take in to, you know, adapt and get better from. So now I'm in a weird spot. First of all, this is already a tricky rack. Getting out from here on normal conditions would have been tough. Getting out here now is nigh impossible. I would love to see a pro get out from here. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it would be an impressive out. So, and the reason is just because of this, right? So I think I magically pulled this out of the hat where I could still see the 4-ball. I used the natural trajectory of the cue ball to wrap it around the table and get a look at the 4-ball. I'm not going to go into that because I don't think I need to, and that's it's already a long video. So moving forward here, I tried to make the 8-ball. Guess what? I missed. There you go. All right, moving on. Let's rack these up. In the next break, make the 1-ball again. I also think I hit it thin there as well, but I did end up making the 2 because of that thin hit. The thinner you hit the rack, the more likely you are to make that wing ball, by the way. So let's take a look at that break again. And that 2-ball went directly into the pocket because I hit it thin. I don't think you should be aiming to make the wing ball, but that's why. Okay, so with ball in hand, I chose to go 2 rails towards the 4-ball here to get an angle to shoot the 5-up table. I got kind of jacked up over the 7-ball here. Not fun, but it was a risk I was willing to take. Because if you get too straight, then I don't know, I think the transition between the 5 and the 6-ball would have been really difficult if I was on the rail, right? So I want an angle. That means that I could get the cue ball off of the rail. Remember, this is just like the 4-ball from earlier. This cue ball really sucks back from the table, from the rail, more than I'm expecting. I'm expecting it to come off of the rail more. But that's all right. I was trying to get straight so I could either draw up table, and now I'm at this kind of a weird angle where I'm a little bit too straight. And if I want to use the side rail, to get the cue ball back over here, I think that's the most natural option. But I think the camera angle here is deceiving because 90 degrees is actually much closer to the side pocket than it looks like. I think the camera is just, the angle's a little weird here. Like look at where the spot is. From the spot, 90 degrees from the spot to the corner is to the side pocket, right? But that's not, it doesn't look like 90 degrees on the screen, but it is. So draw a near parallel line there. That's, you know, that's 90 degrees with the 5-ball. So the reason I'm saying that is because if I use a high ball here to go down the tangent line and then curve, hopefully missing this side pocket, and then go back over the table, I was afraid that I was going to get too straight on this 6-ball, not to be able to get up table for the 7 easily. And also, I didn't want to risk scratching in this side pocket because of all the high ball I would need. I actually need a lot more speed on this shot to pull it off right. The cue ball will be traveling along the tangent line longer, risking this scratch. So I decide instead to soft stun, and hopefully the soft stun would pick up a forward roll, missing the side pocket, and then just, you know, coming out here with side spin, with right spin. And then I would have a natural angle to either go straight up the table for the 7 or 2 rails for the 7 ball here. Now, take a look at what happens. Because of the slickness of the table, it takes so long for the friction to grab between the cue ball and the cloth that I ended up straight up scratching into the side here. I'm so like stunned because normally, I mean, this would never happen. It comes straight off the ball and I'm expecting the cue ball to really naturally want to curve. Wow. Naturally want to curve down towards the long rail like that. So I missed the ball, rack the balls. So there I hit it too thick. It's very simple. I hit the 1 ball too thick and it sent it above the side pocket to the point. Okay, moving on to the next shot. I take ball in hand. You guys, this is the last rack in this go set. I don't run out, obviously. I'm not playing great and the table caught me off guard, but lots to learn from. So angle in is here. Angle out is crazy. Take a look at this shot. Angle in does not equal angle out. The cue ball just dives and rolls down table. I wanted to maintain an angle, pointing with my cue there. I wanted to maintain an angle to where I wouldn't have to worry about doing some sort of magic to get on the 3. I wanted this line where I could just follow straight up the table or go 2 rails towards the 3 like that. But alas, table caught me out again. In hindsight, I should have taken my medicine here and just rolled forward and gotten the cue ball right in here so I could shoot a long 3-5 combo. I chose to draw because I thought, you know what? It's easy to draw right now. These conditions make it super easy to draw. I'll draw the ball. And then I did not expect for the cue ball to go along the tangent line so long. And that means that I ended up running into this 6-ball that's here, nicked off the 6-ball and came and hooked myself behind the 8. So that's just how my day was going. This is a good opportunity to show how much the cue ball dives, even with speed. I know that one of the ways to combat this this altering of the cue ball trajectory because of the forward roll and because of the slickness of the cloth is with speed. So I tried hitting pretty firm here into the rail And I even calculated, so I aimed here, hoping that the cue ball was gonna hit the 3, and it dove even more than I was expecting. Take a look at this trajectory. The cue ball, I'm expecting to go into out, something like this. It ends up diving and missing the 3 ball entirely. And that's my run. There you go. Go set over 1 to 5. Woof. I don't know if this is gonna do my reputation any good. Not that I have a reputation, but it's what it is. Thumbs up, good job, Nate. Now I get to show you guys how this is different on a diamond table. So the table that I was just playing on is actually this table in the back here. So this is the same location, same cloth, same mechanic, next day. I decided to go back because I was like, I want to see what the difference is with the diamond. So I think I was here not that long, and then just wanted to film some and get used to how this plays on a diamond. Getting used to a diamond with new cloth is so much easier in my book because it actually ends up counteracting the new cloth. The bouncier rails on the diamond, most diamonds, once they're worn in, they play short, right? Because of the new cloth naturally playing long and slick, the diamond kind of counteracts that a little bit. It still plays long and you still have to make different choices on a diamond, but it does make it easier to adapt to. So take a look at these shots. Even from the break has more speed, right? I'm hitting the break the same way. I ended up, this is a pretty good break, Nate. I ended up with the cue ball, the cue ball probably would have traveled another, without hitting the spy ball, cue ball would have traveled maybe out to here. Let's just go check back on the other breaks real quick. On one of my earlier breaks, take a look at the cue ball. The cue ball really does not move with that much speed. It dies at this long rail. But I go to the diamond table and the cue ball would have gone, to that long rail and then some, just because the speed of the rubber is totally different. Same break, same speed that I tried to hit it at. I ended up making a few balls. Like, it was a good break, just like the other break I showed on the gold crown. The cue ball went farther. So here, I think the goal is to go around the 7 ball here, like this. But I hit the 3 ball too thin. Not great, I'm not happy. Oh man, so I hit the 3 ball too thin and that runs me into the 7 ball. Look at the part of the pocket that I catch this 3 ball in. I nearly missed this pocket, you guys, which is why I run into the 7. So now I'm here, I gotta come with it. But luckily I'm on a diamond table and this allows this type of shot much easier than it would have been on the gold crown. On the gold crown, this same shot where I zigzag the cue ball like this, that would have been so much more difficult because, hear me out, with the slower speed of the rails, I would need more speed into the cue ball to make up for that distance. Here's the problem. With more speed comes more travel along the tangent line, potentially scratching or hitting this point of the side pocket. Or I would need to use inside spin. It would just make the shot more difficult. But because I'm on the diamond, I can trust that the rails are bouncy enough to just carry the cue ball across the table the way it needed to travel. So these are big differences between how the diamond plays and how the gold crown plays with new cloth. So keep that in mind when you go to APA Nationals, when you go to BCA Nationals. If you're playing on newly covered diamonds in these tournament settings, they are going to play different than what you're expecting if you have new cloth on a gold crown at home or an Olthausen at home or in your pool room. So just keep in mind that the table and the rubber makes a big difference. Just like this, right? So I was able to hit this 5 ball, not against the rail, not against the rail here, but more straight into the pocket. cheat the pocket a little bit. Again, these are 4-inch pockets on all the tables, so it's not easy to cheat. But with the new cloth, I was fairly certain I could do it. And look at the cue ball. The cue ball ends up popping off of the rail a little bit before drawing up table, the way I'm expecting that gold crown to play with worn cloth. That's how the diamond is playing with new cloth. So now I want to get this out of the way. I don't like diamond tables more than gold crowns. I actually prefer the way that a worn gold crown plays more than a worn diamond, because you know, diamond and other diamond systems and other systems, while played on a diamond that are worn, it's harder to predict because the angles are more sharp, right? Everything plays short on a diamond. But because it's new cloth, it plays more like I'm expecting it. And I got a lot out of that cue ball to come off of the rail at that shallow of an angle, just because of the rubber. Now, ordinarily, I think I would go forward 2 rails here, and I would either go like this, play short side, or, you know, maybe if there was enough angle, I would go 1 rail out. That's pretty tough. The reason I am choosing to draw this ball is because I'm very confident that I could miss the side pocket because of the speed of the new cloth and no other reason. This shot on worn cloth would mean more speed. More speed means the cue ball would travel along the tangent line longer, potentially risking scratching, but it ends up traveling much straighter along this line because, well, new cloth. I don't have to hit it as hard. So it does curve a little bit at the right after contact, but you guys can see there's a big difference between, you know, new cloth, drawing with new cloth and drawing with old cloth, where you have to really pump the ball, like strike the ball firm to get it to come back that easily, or you have to hit it super duper sweet, as low as you possibly can get on the cue ball to do that. This was not that hard to do. I did not hit it that low, and I did not hit it that firm. Keep in mind, there's less distance that it is traveling because I'm drawing the ball instead of going forward. If I went forwards, this ball would have traveled, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 diamonds, 8 diamonds in total. Now the cue ball, this cue ball is only traveling 5 or 6 diamonds to get to its position, right? So it's actually traveling less distance, which means I need less speed to get the cue ball to go this way with new cloth, right? On older cloth, where the speed rubs off on the ball a lot as it travels down table towards the object ball, you don't have to worry about that as much. Same here. Going forwards, look at the difference in speed between before the cue ball makes contact with the 7 ball. As it makes contact, there's a lot more speed going into the rail than coming out. Watch the speed die off of the short rail. Boom, slow. But, you know, I did manage the speed okay. The bouncier rails definitely help on the diamond. So there you go. With diamond, easier to break and run. It's just easier to get used to with new cloth. Again, I'm not saying that diamonds are better than gold crowns. I actually prefer the way that used gold crowns play. But when it comes to new cloth, there was a huge difference here between how a gold crown plays and how a diamond plays. And so hopefully that helps you guys adjust when you're dealing with new conditions, whether or not it's going to Vegas, playing on diamonds, or going to, you know, the expo or whatever it is. You guys, there's a big difference, and learning how to play on new cloth is a skill that I very clearly need to work on. You guys, go watch Niels Fine's video on playing with new conditions versus old conditions. It's a game changer. Go watch that video. I was able to make this simply because Ernesto recovered the tables at my local pool hall. So I thought this was a great idea to show you guys the difference between how these tables play, and just be honest about one of my struggles, which is, you know, adapting to table conditions. So that's it for this video. Until next time, happy shooting.